Now though for Roger Corman, who could be described as a legend in his own lunchtime, if only because at his peak he was capable of making an entire film in his own lunchtime. Over 4 decades he's become famous, reviled and finally revered for producing a very decent series of thrillers based on Edgar Allan Poe stories, along with a multitude of cheap and cheerful exploitation movies in whose company even B pictures would be reluctant to find themselves. And along the way he gave a kickstart to the careers of, among others, Jack Nicholson, Martin Scorsese, Peter Bogdanovich, Francis Coppola, Jonathan Demme and Ron Howard. Now 70, Corman has become a cult figure, almost an elder statesman of Hollywood, and we talked to him when he was in England shooting a commercial for Greenpeace, as Kirsty Young reports.
All the MUMs, please. Any MUMs, please get out of sight.
Steve and Neil, I tell you what, I'm inclined to shoot everything and print everything. Let's not bother. We'll start and stop, but leave it all on one reel. Okay, go. The idea of doing something for Greenpeace appeals to me very much. So when they offered it to me, I was happy to do it. And I think one of the things that's interesting about it is that it starts as a very loving commercial, if you want to use that word, of Mother Earth being surrounded by her loving children, and then gradually turns to violence as the children assault Mother Earth. And maybe they chose me because I've done some films with violence. I shot Little Shop of Horrors in 2 days and a night, and that was a full-length feature. Here I have 2 days, and I have a 60-second commercial, which will be, I think, in theaters, 70 or 80 seconds. So maybe we're shooting a long feature for the theaters.
In 1960, the Little Shop of Horrors cemented Corman's reputation for filming low-budget features in record time and demonstrated his flair for spotting future stars like Jack Nicholson.
Oh, goody, goody, here it comes. Oh, my God, don't stop now!
Well, I made a lot of holes, and now I gotta fill it up with this here silver stuff.
However, those of us with a taste for late-night TV will probably recognize Corman as the man who created a whole new genre of horror movies, many of them based on the works of Edgar Allan Poe and starring Vincent Price.
I tried to do horror more by suggestion. I had studied Freud and was somewhat into psychiatry at the time, and I had certain ideas of my own about symbols, about the meaning of the house, of the corridor, of the door, and so forth. And I tried to work through imagery. I remember one time working with Vincent Price and explaining all this to him, and the next time he was interviewed, he said, Roger has all of these theories. He explains them to the actors. We don't necessarily believe him, but he feels good if we say yes, so we say yes.
Spurred on by great commercial success, Corman then turned his attention to more important social issues.
I did a film with a young actor, William Shatner, about racial integration in the American South. It got wonderful reviews, won a couple of film festivals, and was the first film I ever made that lost money. But since The Intruder, I have never let the subtext overpower the text.
Depends entirely and wholly and completely on you. You said it!
I don't have a specific formula as such. I do many different types of films. I do horror films, science fiction films. Currently, I've got a martial arts film shooting in Ireland. I've done some children's films as well. But rather than dictating a formula, it's more from experience I found that certain things are more inclined to work than others.
Returning to more popular subjects ensured that Corman's pictures hardly ever lost money, and in the 60s and 70s he continued to spot new talent, giving opportunities to budding young hopefuls to direct their first feature film. With Corman producing, Jonathan Demme shot Caged Heat, Martin Scorsese weighed in with Boxcar Bertha, and Francis Coppola shot Dementia 13.
When I work with new talent, whether it's a writer, director, producer, actor, I look for a number of things, but three in particular. Intelligence. I have never met a writer, producer, or director who wasn't intelligent. The second is the willingness to work hard. It is very, very hard work, particularly on a low budget. The third, which is the intangible, is the creativity.
It's something Corman has an unerring ability to spot. Sylvester Stallone was a struggling young actor when he appeared in Corman's Death Race 2000 in 1975. A year later, Stallone wrote and starred in Rocky, which catapulted him to fame. 43 years after his first hit as a film producer, Roger Corman's now expanding his operation into Ireland.
I planned to make probably 6, 7, 8 pictures a year. They had certain requirements as to how many pictures I had to guarantee, and they thought they were giving me a very difficult guarantee, and I was thinking, and I was supposed to do a certain number of pictures in 3 years, and inwardly, although I was negotiating fairly strongly, I was thinking, I'll do that many in the first year.
Well, at 70, he's obviously just getting his second wind. Now, in Money